Oh, 1 second. Lights, camera, action, and the door, of course. All right, I'm here. Whew. This will take a second. There we go. There's also several multiple things going wrong all at once. Okay, no, that's one thing that okay. Okay, unfortunately, Dominic has yet to continue this, but I'll make him out. Definitely next year, I'll force him to do it, complete it, or else I'll just no, I won't complete it for him. What I'll do is I'll just. I mean, I've got my own projects to do here on the Random Phantom. But speaking of which, welcome back to the Random Phantom. I'm your host, RavenWood, and welcome back to RavenWood Reads. And welcome back to the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Oh, and also welcome back to just plain boring streams. Not really boring, but I hope you understand that the sarcasm. Also welcome back to me fixing my hair for no apparent reason. Yeah, this is how I should look. Yeah. Okay. So, Christmas. Okay. We all been there. Christmas singing and whatnot. Okay. So what I'm gonna have to do. He's probably not going to like it, or whatever. But what I'm gonna eventually have to do is to just put all the Legos into a box or something, like some sort of container, or throw them away. Just kidding. This was too expensive of a birthday gift. Well, not too expensive, but like this was like a gift from I think his birthday or last Christmas. I was hoping that maybe, oh, yay, we could do this together. Yay, woohoo, wow, yay. Do like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde for the last stream, and the starship that he never finished for the last stream. Basically, two last things for the end of the year. For the I may have to force him to do it. Because I don't like unfinished stuff. I know, I understand. This is a man's project. You don't want to intervene. Everyone loves Legos and whatnot. But the problem that I don't like is setting aside content. So yeah, I'll get them on that. Also, at the end of the or at the beginning of the year, I'll get myself a haircut. Probably sometime this next weekend ish or something like that. And once I get that, then I've got a text. So. Okay. So last time, oh well, it's been quite a while. Last time we've Hasty Leon. Last time we read about Hasty Leon's report, or no, report, his confession, his his story of him meeting Dr. Jekyll and him witnessing his witness, his account that Dr. Jekyll transformed into Mr. Hyde. No, it was the other way around. He reports that Mr. Hyde transformed into Dr. Jekyll. And Dr. Jekyll calmed Hasty Lane down. And he's like, "Don't worry, this is me. I'm the real. This is the real me, right? Blah 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 blah." Yeah. So, and now Mr. Utterson is going to read Dr. Henry Jekyll's full statement of the case. Let's see, what time is it? It's 10:30. I know I've set I don't understand this, but I've set the time on here to 10:15, thus telling everyone, hey, it's scheduled for 10:15. It's not. Or technically would be, but like that's not. But I'm always going. For some reason, I always just turn it on 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or whatever, ahead of time or whatever. Or sometimes I'm late to the set timer or whatever. But yeah, okay. So anyways, back to what I was saying. Yeah, we're here on this. So once we finish it, we'll move on to a different story. We'll move on back to the Artificer. So yeah, here's what we're gonna do. I've thought about it, and I've thought about it, and I've made my decision. I'm going to pick a book and read it all the way through. Okay, I kind of want to do chapter by chapter thing and keep the one book kind of special, or at least have it like a returning story to the channel, and kind of reoccurring thing. And then once it's finally gone, it's finally gone, so that I just don't read it and just get done with it. Yeah, I might. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll read chapter 2 and I'll see how I feel about it. And then I'll read the Fast Bear fight story. And then go back to the Artificer. That's what I'll do. I'll read the Fast Bear fights, Artificer. Start over. Sorry. I'll start with the Artificer, Fast Bear fights, Artificer, Fast Bear fights, Artificer, and then whatever of the book, not dies, but wherever the book kicks out first, or drops out first, or whatever, I'll drop that, and then I'll pick up a different story in this one. So yeah, so I'll think about it. So there's 3 stories total in this one. So what will happen is, after a few, we'll read chapter 2 of the Artificer, and then the second story of Fast Bear fights into the field. Yeah. So yeah, and then once the third story is over, or third chapter, we'll then read the third chapter of the Artificer, and then once the third chapter is over of the Artificer, I'll read the third story of Fast Bear fights. And then the bonus story, because that's short, And then I'll go back to the Artificer, read chapter 4, and then we'll put a pause onto the whole Fazbear collection because I want to move on to something else. I might move on to more of the other stories here. So yeah, so the second and the third story of this, and then continue into these other stories here. And then we'll move on. And then once that's done, or once the Artificer's done, we'll move on. There's a whole lot of planning into this. So yeah, once I gotta read something real quick. Okay, so now we're gonna continue reading. With that said, I'm ready to finish Henry Jekyll, Dr. Henry, the strange case of Dr. Henry and Mr. Hyde. And now we're on to the final chapter, Henry Jekyll's full statement of the case. I was born in the year 18 to in the year 18. I'm assuming it's like dash. They have a dash here after the year, after the first two digits of the year. I highly doubt he's that old. The year 18. Like, oh, 18. That's how dates work. Okay, well, not, I mean, maybe. I mean, that'd be old. No, I think it's like the 18th century? Well, let's call it 18th century. I think it's called the 19th century, but it's technically the 18th. I hate how that works. No, we're gonna call it the 18th century. So stick with that. I hate the whole 21st century, the 20th century, 29th century, or whatever. I know. Stop doing that to me. Anyways, no. Brain is malfunctioning. I was born in the year 18, probably something. To a lot. Anyways, okay, you know what? Let's assume he's born in the year 18. There. I was born in the year 18 to a large fortune, endowed besides with excellent parts, inclined by nature to industry, found the respect of the wise and good among my fellow men, and thus, as might have supposed, with every guaranteed and honourable and distinguished future. And indeed, the worst of my faults was a certain impatient gaiety of disposition, such as it made the happiness of many, but such as I found it hard to reconcile with my imperious desire to carry my head high and wear more than a calmly grave countenance before the public. Hence it came about that I concealed my pleasures, and that when I reached years of reflection, and began to look around me and take stock of my progress and position in the world, I stood already committed to a profound duplicity of life. Many a man would have even blazoned such irregularities as I was guilty of, but from the high views that I had set before me, I regarded and heard them with an almost morbid sense of shame. It was thus rather the exacting nature of my aspirations than any particular degradation in my faults that made me what I was, and, with even deeper truth than in the majority of men, severed in me those provinces of good and ill which divide and compound man's dual nature. And as I was driven to reflect deeply and inevitably on that hard law of life, which lies at the root of religion, and is one of the most plentiful springs of distress, though so profound a double dealer, I was in no sense a hypocrite. Both sides of me which in dead earnest. I was no more myself when I laid aside restraint and plunged in shame, than when I labored in the eye of day at the furtherance of knowledge or the relief of sorrow and suffering. And it chanced that the direction of my scientific studies, which led wholly towards the mythic and the transcendental, reacted and shed a strong light on this consciousness of the perennial war among my members. With every day I from both sides of my intelligence, the moral and the intellectual, I thus drew steadily nearer to that truth by whose partial discovery I have been doomed to such dreadful shipwreck, that man is not truly one, but truly two. I say two because the state of my own knowledge does not pass beyond that point. Others will follow, others will outstrip me on the same lines, and I hazard the guess that man will be ultimately known for a mere a politely multifarious encourages and independent citizens. I, for my part, from the nature of my life, advanced infallibly in one direction only, and from it, and in one direction only. It was on the moral side, and in my own person, that I learned to recognize the thorough and primitive duality of man. I saw that the two natures that contended in the field of my consciousness, even if I could rightly be said to be either, it was only because I was radically both, and from an early date, even before the course of my scientific discoveries had begun to suggest the most naked possibility of such a miracle. I learned to dwell with pleasure, as a beloved daydream, on the thought of the separation of these elements. If each, I told myself, I could be housed in separate identities, life would be relieved of all that was unbearable. The unjust might go his way, delivered from the aspirations and remorse of his more upright twin. And he just could walk steadfastly and securely on his upright path, doing the good things in which he found his pleasure, and no longer exposed to disgrace and penitence by the hands of this extraneous evil. I'll pause right there for a moment. Oh, hello, Kate Morning. Just one moment. I'm busy texting real quick. I know it's kind of rude, but give me a second. All right. Hello, Kate Morning. We're continuing our story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Where was I? Penitence by the hands of this extraneous evil. Final chapter, by the way. Kate Morning. It was the curse of mankind that is encouragers. Faggots. Oh, he said the F word. Just kidding. No, he said faggot. It's like not gay. I don't know. Let me Google the word. This word, it's an old word, but it does not mean the same word that is of the older of the newer or it's the older. Oh gosh, I'm gonna get canceled because of this book. On faggot. Let's see. Let's Google the word. Offensive North American term, a gay man. So it does not necessarily have to do with homosexuality. Okay, so and then encourages faggots, thus bound together. A bundle of sticks or twigs bound together as fuel. So he's inferring, or a bundle of iron rods bound together for reheating, wielding, and hammering into bars. Huh. That would be a creative term for calling a gay man. But I assure you he means it in this old French, Italian, Greek term, which means the Greek term for faggot. I can imagine that language change over time. Yeah, I can imagine like Kratos say, "Atreus, hand me those faggots," and then and then Atreus just like picks up two gay people. An Italian fagotto. Yes, Da Vinci, hand me the fagotto. Oh, forgive me. I find this humor hilarious. And the old French faggot or faggot with bundle of sticks. Oh, these faggots, these bundle of sticks. Atreus, why did you hand me the faggot? No, I said, Atreus, why you hate me a man? I thought you said for me to fetch a faggot. No, not a faggot, faggot. Damn it! This word's funny. The meaning of words. I'm abusing this term. I'm abusing it. So. Hold on. I need a break. Anyways, the context is he's being creative with the term faggots, but not fag. Oh god, I hate myself. He's being creative with the term faggot, as in like bundling up a bunch of deplorable people as if they were twigs, and then cast them into the fire of hell. But it could work either way. I gotta get canceled very hard. But no, what I mean is, it's funny. It on the final chapter, yeah, the final chapter, the good old Dr. Jekyll. These faggots must die. And then like Mr. Utterson's like, oh curses, that horrible word. I can't believe my dear old friend has used this terrible language. And then like another person reading the word, another lawyer, since Utterson's a lawyer, he's also reading the term. Utterson, he clearly means twigs. Hold on one second. Oh, my body. Ow, stretch. Ow. Oh. Okay, sorry. How was my Christmas? It was fine. Nothing happened. I could just no. No. Nothing exciting happened. But it was rather normal. I got new bed sheets, a new hoodie, and I think a new a new pair of pajama pants. I'm not certain, and some new my pillow, not blankets. My pillow. Oh, wash rags, towels. Dang nabbit. I've gotten some of my pillow towels. Ugh. I hate I hate like the product is like a name of a thing, and then you're trying to say that the thing what the actual product is. So like, oh, it's my pillow, the company towels. I didn't get the my pillow pillows yet though. Oh, I do have the my pillow. I think it's over here in my room. This is not my room. This is the I put in this room for some reason, and I don't know why. Okay, so the My Pillow sheet set, right? And this was because my grandmother likes the dude, I guess. I don't know. And My Pillow 2 bath towels, hand towel, 2 of each. Okay, so 2 washcloths, 2 hand towels, and 2 bath towels. Not, but my pillow, uh, cloth. I didn't get anything on the shelf worthy. Like I could just make a video of like me reviewing the figure or whatever. So I didn't get much. Not much. I didn't get any of that kind of content. I'll just have to just use my Christmas money to purchase it myself, I guess. Oh, this fell apart. And I also got the My Pillow thing. Okay, no, this is a Lucky Brand pajama pants. So yeah, I'll set that aside. And this is from, I think, the church I go to, or someone that at the church. I can't remember. I have to ask my mother. But this I have to put in the wash. And that's it. That's it. I mostly did the gifting for my brothers. They okay. I don't have it with me, but my brother. Uh, this is funny. Hold on, I'll be right back, Kate Morning. In the meantime, type what you got. And this is actually kind of funny because I was actually going to do a stream on covering the Sherlock Holmes separately. So I might read from this book actually. But what's funny is I already had. Okay, so initially, huh? Oh, that's cool. A watch and an Atlas shirt / pin. What's an Atlas shirt pin? Like it's like from like the Brotherhood of Steel Atlas, or is it like an Atlas as in like something like the Greek Titan? Or I explain. What is an Atlas shirt? It's like um okay, so oh, from Ruby. Okay, Atlas. Okay. That's nice. Okay. So my youngest brother, I'm the oldest, he did not know that I already have Elden Ring due to a lot of I don't blame him. I understand how he would not know, even though he. Okay, oh, I'm about to go into family politics. I'm not going to cover that, but there's, let's just say, to cut things shortly. Uh, he's been away he's been away in a camp. So it's been a while since we've kind of like reconnected and whatnot. So I think what ended up happening while he was gone, I had purchased. What had happened was Elden Ring was releasing, right. I can't remember when, or not releasing. There was a lot of teasers and stuff like that, and I had told him about it. And I guess while he was gone, I had gotten the game, and then for a while I haven't been playing it or whatever, and he probably either forgotten or didn't know, so I don't know all the details. It's been a long time since both has happened, since he had left to Montana to a camp. Um, to straighten up. Let's just say that. That's as far as I'm telling you. Okay. And that, so he's been back, but then he's kind of been like distant, quiet, and when that. But it's fine. With him getting this has actually encouraged me, because what happened was, while I was playing it, I had stopped playing it, and I have this British accent. I am, or English accent or whatever. Anyways, what happened was I had stopped playing it because the person I was the particular person that I was playing with, it had stopped playing it because they had moved on to a different game, because they already completed the game. Understandably, they already deleted the game from their console, the device, and whatnot. Oh, it looks great. Anyways, so with that out of the way, this will encourage me. One second, I'll be right back. To try to play it again, this time just by myself, or maybe find a different friend or someone to help me. I'm mostly multiplayer when I try to play games like this, because it's, let's face it, it's depressing. And I initially stopped playing because it was depressing. It's a dark world and whatnot. And these games are not typically my forte, but and I learned that the hard way. So like, but it's a nice gift. At least he thought about it, and that's something I appreciate about it. Yeah, I've held the ring but never played it. I will guide you as much as I can, and then as far as I've got. And maybe even further if we're lucky. But it's definitely a game where I would definitely not play alone. By the looks of it, it says okay, but okay. The problem is another problem, a slight problem. Oh no, hold on. This is okay. Okay, Xbox Series X and Xbox One. Okay. Initially, I thought this was just the Xbox Series X version. I was also going to say that is the problem. I can't play this copy or something like that. But I can play this copy. But the thing is, it's just it's just a copy. But it was interesting is that it's single player mode, online co-op, and online multiplayer. Huh? Is that technically this? Wouldn't that be the same thing? It doesn't. But and you know what's funny? I keep getting games that have multiplayer that can be multiplayer, right? None of my brothers play alongside or with me or whatever. No one. I try to get games that in theory we would all enjoy and play. Smash Brothers is a game that we definitely would all play, but it's been sitting there. So that's a side note. I'm grateful that he got me. At least he got me some, because at least that's what matters, is that he cared and that he thought about it. Now, for my other brother, okay. I made a mistake on my end. Or at least several ends. So, long time ago, roughly around my birthday, I don't remember which one because I don't have memorable birthdays. I think it was like the one, I think it was last year. And since getting closer to 2024, I keep forgetting that it's not 2024, it's still 2023. So last year, stay with me. Sometime last year or the year before that, I got myself a Sherlock Holmes event, the Sherlock Holmes book. Not this one. There's it was just the complete stories and everything of Sherlock Holmes. And so here was the problem. It was not a complete. It was just. It was a. The Adventures. It was the. It was not the complete edition. It was the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, but it was not this. It was on illustrated. It was on illustrated. It had the majority. I hate this. This I hate this company. Well, not I hate it, but I hate how this company works, or the publishing company that I purchased it from. It had a certain quality to it, and I was like, okay, and it's supposed to be like the complete edition of like, oh, here's this Sherlock Holmes stories. Here we are, woohoo! Right, by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. This does not say Sir. This says Arthur Conan Doyle. Those are two different people. There's Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and there's Arthur Conan Doyle. Okay, make up your mind. Okay, so, write down the right one. Anyways, so I had gotten that, and then I found out that it was not the complete edition, or at least it was not the complete collection. I was really mad, and so I got that. Then, roughly around the beginning of December or the late November, right? We were discussing what to get each other. Me and my brother and Dominic. Okay, the other brother didn't discuss anything. This is the problem, people. For being distant, but if you still want to give people gifts, anyways, where was I? Oh, hold on one second. Text. Oh, sorry, my bad. I almost missed this text. Text. Please do not text me during this hour. Or at least try not to. Anyways, so we were discussing it, and then later we decided to go to Barnes and Nobles, and then we at Barnes and Nobles we were discussing what books we don't have and whatnot, and so I made a mistake, or at least I thought I didn't had the 11th book of the Twilight Princess manga from Legend of Zelda. But I was certain I didn't have certain volumes of the My Hero Academia and the Moriarty manga and the My Hero Vigilantes manga and several other mangas that I did not have editions to. I was certain about that. I did tell him I was not certain about the Twilight. Me not having the 11th book. All right, and then we purchased each other's I then we it was a good adaptation. The manga, yeah, it was a good adaptation. The Twilight Princess book, it was a good adaptation. I have not finished it yet because I'm currently reading several books. I'm currently reading a lot of manga. And welcome to RavenWood Reads, where I'm not reading. uh, anyways, so um, where was I? Oh yes, and so what happened was I had found another book of the like uh the back like these backstory books about the villains of Disney, and there was one about Hades, and I decided to get my mom that one. We go home, and 2 days later, I'm looking through. I've decided to look through some stuff in the living room, or not in the living room. Yeah, in our living room. Um, Upstairs TV room or whatever. I don't really care. And so what happened was I found something that I had left behind in a package of a previous due to a previous Barnes and Noble trip when I was getting books for myself during my birthday this year. So it was my birthday this year. So yeah, I had gotten a Barnes and Noble gift card, and I had forgotten I had gotten myself um, a Barnes and I've gotten myself a some books from some manga, whatever, books from Barnes and Noble, or at least a book from Barnes and Noble. Turns out that book from Barnes and Noble is one from Barnes and Noble from my birthday that I accidentally left in the living room. Inside the brown package, there was the 11th book to the Twilight Guardian. Now now take note. This is getting closer to Christmas, or getting closer to like the week of Christmas. Okay, so here's the problem. Apparently, when I had gotten Mom the Hades book, he went to go get the 11th book of Twilight Prince. And so you can see the problem here. He, he's looking at me like I had done something despicable. I had forgot that I had gotten myself the thing for my birthday. So, well, we took another trip to Barnes and Nobles, and this time we're getting a little. It's a little bit closer to like Christmas, right? Okay, so here we are, Barnes and Nobles. We cannot find anything for my little brother. Well, we found some Spider-Man books, and he is into Spider-Man, but they were expensive, and I have already spent an expensive dollar on him. And Dominic his was trying to get a refund, got a refund, but he's also spent expensive dollar or two getting other things. So what he ended up doing, he tried to get both me and Jonathan a book. But I think what ended up happening was he ended up just getting me a book. Ultimate. Um, that's my little brother's name is Jonathan. I squealed it. Oh well. There's no secret here. Anyways. I don't know why I'm keeping family names secret. I guess it must be a YouTube personality thing. Oh, whatever. So, anyways, texting there. Okay, so you got me this. Then, when I was decorating the tree, okay, near the tree was a bookshelf. Was the bookshelf of my grandmother's. We put the tree in the library, so we're slashed in. But anyways, so we put the tree in the library, right? And I glanced over to the bookshelf, and there's some two decorations that didn't go on the tree because the tree was full. I wish that I had taken the time to thoroughly investigate G-Mama's bookshelf. We call her G-Mama. Because there behold was an illustrated book event, it's a red book. So it's like an old red, old paper, not paperback, old hardcover, not and in the nicely faded. I see nicely faded red. And so we have like a bajillion Sherlock Holmes books. Okay, not a bajillion, but like we have like this family is a fan of Sherlock Holmes. Damn it! And murder mysteries. Oh well. So I am looking at the book, and so I'm like, I tell Jim, I'm like, we have several Sherlock Holmes books. Then fast forward to Christmas Day, and Dominic opens this in front of me and my brother John, and so this is supposed to be technically a gift to you both. Kind of glances at not Nicholas. And Dominic kind of glances at me. Only he gave me a quick glance, like this, like a quick glance, and then looked at Jonathan, because with an embarrassed kind of look, because he had no gift for Jonathan. Or at least I don't remember he had a gift. I don't know. I don't. This Christmas has been a very weird one. I wouldn't say a giftless Christmas, but at least we all tried, and that's the good part. We all try to give each other gifts. This year was just expensive for some reason. And not able to. And we were also hit by with other various things. But oh well, can't stop what has happened. And so, yeah, well, it's fine. It's. I mean, hey, love murder mystery. I love murder mystery. I love murder mystery. I love it. I love the art of history, even though there's a gift from me to myself and but yeah, I got my brother a few other gifts. Oh yeah, back to the book. Yeah, give me a moment. I got my brother a few gifts, and I got my other brother a few gifts. I got my brother, the younger one, the youngest one, another Lego set. But don't worry, he's not part of the YouTube channel, so he's not going to be doing this or whatever. But Dominic is a part of the YouTube channel, and he will get back to this for his stream. he will. Dominic will continue. He will finish this, or else my name is not RavenWood. it's not. Anyways, um, so yeah, give me a second. I've got to finish this text. I know, texting. Anyways, so Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Oh, Hannah, you've been texting. Okay, my mom likes to watch murder mystery show. Which one? There are several murder mystery shows, or is it legit called murder mystery show? But so back to the book. Nice. Got a Guardian of the Galaxy Lego. Probably going to re-gift it to someone. You know, shows. Oh, she just likes to watch a whole bunch of shows. My Mudge, my great grandmother, Mudge used hair. Uh, Mudge and Jimama, she for some reason she stopped. Probably because she can't find the channel. But Mudge, before she passed away, um, we used to visit Mudge a lot. Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but enough to get to know her and whatnot, and to sit down and watch Murder She Wrote, and that's what got me into murder mysteries, was just enjoying time with Mudge. So yeah. Anyways, speaking of murder mystery, let's bloody murder this book. Oh yeah, I'm dedicated. By the way, I'm dedicated to complete to purchase a complete collection of Murder She Wrote and just watch it. But anyways, let's get back to it. Let's do this thing again, faggots. Thus bound together, that in the agonist womb of consciousness, these polar twins should be continuously struggling. How, then, were they dissociated? Dissociated? I was so far in my reflections when, as I have said, a side light began to shine upon the subject from the laboratory table. I began to perceive more deeply than it has ever yet stated the trembling immateriality, the word of the day, immateriality, the mist-like transience, of this seemingly so solid body in which we walk attired. Certain agents I have found to have the power to shake and pluck back the fleshy vestment, even as a wind might toss the curtains of a pavilion, for two good reasons. I will not enter deeply into the scientific branch of my confession. Okay, fine. I'll give. That'd be funny. Hold on, let me read. More text. Okay, anyways. My confession. First, because I have been made to learn that the doom and burden of our life is bound forever on man's shoulders, and when the attempt is made to cast it off, but returns upon us with more unfamiliar and more awful pressure. Second, because as my narrative will make, alas, too evident, my discoveries were incomplete enough then that I not only recognized my natural body from the mere aura and effluence, influence, influence, I don't know how to pronounce this word, influence, in, no, there's no in, effluence, okay, time to Google. When Google is your friend, da 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 da, effluence, effluent, eff, uh, effulgence. Okay, effulgence. There we go. Effulgence. Oh dear, effulgence. What I like about Christmas the most is eggnog. Okay, nothing can go wrong with eggnog. Don't dip eggnog into coffee. Effluence of certain of the powers that made up my spirit, but managed to compound a drug by which these powers should be dethroned from their supremacy, a second form of continence substituted, none the less natural to me because they were the expression and bore the stamp of lower elements in my soul. You see, Dr. Jekyll has found the true unlimited power of homophobia. Just kidding. I'm sorry, but because of the fact that the word faggot is in this book, it's now ingrained into my mind. Oh gosh, this is a rather lengthy chapter. We will finish it tonight. Yeah, or else my name is in RavenWood. It is. Okay. Dethroned, it is natural to live, to be substituted, less natural to be because they were expressions of the boys of the lower ends of my soul. He becomes a Super Saiyan. Okay. I hesitated long enough before I put this theory to the rest of practice. I knew well that I risked death for any drug that so potently controlled and shook the very fortress of identity might be the least scruple of an overdose, or the least the inopportunity in the moment of exposition, utterly blot out the immaterial tabernacle which I looked to it to change. But the temptation of a discovery so singular and profound at last overcame the suggestions of alarm. I had long since prepared my tincture. I purchased at once from a firm of wholesale chemists a large quantity of peculiar salt, which I knew from my experience to be the last ingredient required, chemical X. Sorry. The last ingredient acquired, and late one accursed night I compounded the elements, watched them boil and smoke together in the glass. And when the ebullition had subsided, with a strong glow of courage, drank off the potion. How many more pages, please? Several. Dang. Whew. Yikes. Okay, well, whatever. We'll continue. We will continue. We'll bite this in the butt. Okay. Drink up the potion. The most racking pain succeeded, a grinding in the bones, deadly nausea, and a horror of the spirit that cannot be exceeded at the hour of birth or death. Then these agonies began swiftly to subside, and I came to myself as if out of great sickness. There was something strange, sorry, strange in my sensations, something indescribably new and from its very novelty, incredibly sweet. I felt younger, lighter, happier in body. Within, I was conscious of a heady recklessness, a current of disordered sensual images running like a mill race in my fancy, a solution of the bonds of obligation, an unknown but not an innocent freedom of the soul. I knew myself, at the first breath of this new life, to be more wicked, tenfold more wicked, sold a slave from my original evil. And the thought in that moment braced and delighted me like wine. I stretch out my hands. Just like that. Stretch out my hands, exulting in his hands, so it's more like stretch out my hands, exulting in the freshness of the sensations, and in the act I was suddenly aware that I had lost in stature. There was no mirror at that date in my room, that which stands beside me as I write. I was brought there later on, and for the very purpose of these transformations. Sorry. The night, however, was far gone into the morning. The morning, black as it was, as nearly arrived for the conception of the day. The inmates of my house were locked in the most rigorous hours of slumber, and I determined, and I determined, flushed as I was with hope and triumph, to venture in my new shape as far as to my bedroom. I crossed the yard wherein the constellations looked down upon me. I could have thought, with wonder, the first creature of that sort that their unsleeping vigilance had yet disclosed to them. I stole through the corridors, a stranger in my own house, and coming to my room, I saw for the first time the appearance of Edward Hyde. There's no exclamation point, but I'm doing that for dramatization, so please bear with me, as I'm being dramatic with my voice. So for this part, I'll try to read as Mr. Hyde, Edward Hyde. I must speak by theory alone, say not which I know, but that which I suppose to be probable. The evil side of my nature, to which I had now transferred the stamping efficacy, was less robust and less developed than the good which I had just disposed. Again, in the course of my life, excuse me, covered, which had been, after all, nine-tenths a life of effort, virtue, and control. It had been much less exercised and much less exhausted, and hence, as I think, it came about that Edward Hyde was so much smaller, slighter, and younger than Henry Jekyll. Even as good shone upon the countenance of the one, evil was written broadly and plainly on the face of the other. Evil besides, which I must still believe to be the lethal side of man. Parentheses. Let's pause. Okay. No pause. Breathe. Okay. Are we done breathing? Okay, good. Had left on that body an imprint of deformity and decay, and yet, when I looked upon that ugly idol on the glass, I was conscious of no repugnance, or rather a leap of welcome. This, too, was myself. It seemed natural and human, and in my eyes it bore a livelier image of the spirit, and seemed more expressive and single than the imperfect and divided countenance I had been hitherto accustomed to call mine. Okay, now this person just wants to. Okay, here we go. Still formatting it. The guy would looked at it. Myself natural human with my eyes by the love and the spirit to see more expressing hitherto accustomed to call mine, and in so far I was doubtless right. I have observed that when I wore the semblance of Edward Hyde, semblance, he's a Ruby character, confirmed. He has a semblance. He has the semblance. Okay, just kidding. All right, keep mourning. What would Dr. Henry and Mr. Hyde's semblance be? Get creative. None could come near to me at first without visible misgiving of the flesh. Thus, I do not thus. The flesh, this, as I take it, was because all human beings, as we meet them, are commingled out of good of evil. I can't pronounce evil for some reason. Commingled out of good and evil. Let me Google that word. Commingled. Oh, it means blend. The dust has commingled. Okay, commingled. I was close. Commingled. Okay. Look, mingled out of good of evil, and Edward Hyde, alone in the ranks of mankind, was pure evil. Have you come up with a semblance for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? No? Okay. I lingered but a moment in the mirror. The second and conclusive experiment had yet to be attempted, and yet remained to be seen if I had lost my identity beyond redemption and must flee before daylight from a house that was no longer mine, and hurrying back to my cabinet, I once more prepared and drank the cup, once more suffered the pangs of dissolution, and came to myself once more with the character, the stature of the face of Henry Jekyll. Whew! I need a drink. Give me a moment. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. And in the meantime, I do not have a. Whoops, you dropped some. Oh well. Yeah. Uh, I do not have I do not have a. I do not have a co-host, or do not have a place for my co-host to co-host. So let me play some music, some music to be for you all to be entertained. Music. Yeah, here we go. Here's some music. Now this is New Year's sale. I don't want the New Year's sale. Skip. Okay, so here's some music. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Good morning. How was the music? I hope the music was entertaining. Anyways, I'm here with a beverage. It's a Coca-Cola Cherry. Was the music fine? Too much? Horrible? Despicable? Evil? Good? Nice? Sweet? Mid? I dare say? I think it's alright. I think the music's cool. Yeah, Coca-Cola cherry. Oh, such a great taste. Such a wonderful taste. Excellent taste, darling. Okay. Do 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 do. Where are we? Where live? Huh. Are you there at all, Cape? Have you left? Let me see. I'll be determined of that. No, you're still here. My bad. You're probably busy. I'm gonna assume so. My hair just does not like me tonight. Hair just. I need to get a comb. Oh well. There. That's fabulous. That's just fabulous. Whatever. You know, it's funny. I had it combed earlier, but then I brushed my hair through. Brushed my hair with my fingers earlier and messed it up. Oh well, it doesn't matter. It's fine. This feels very Dr. Jekyll-y or very Mr. Hyde or whatever. I don't know. Phantom-y or I don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyway, the night I had come to the fatal crossroads, I had approached my discovery in a more noble spirit. Had I risked the experiment under the empire of generous or pious aspirations, all must have been otherwise, and from these agonies of death and birth I had come forth an angel instead of a fiend. The drug had no discriminating action. It was neither diabolical nor divine, but it shook the doors of the prison house of my disposition, and like the captives of Philippi, which stood within, ran forth. From at that time my virtue slumbered, my evil kept me awake by my ambition was alert and swift to seize the occasion, and the thing that was projected was Edward Hyde. Okay, so now, okay. Hence, although I had now two characters as well two appearances, one was wholly evil, and the other was still the old Henry Jekyll, that encourages compound of whose reformation and improvement I had already learned to despair. The movement was thus wholly toward the worse. Yeah. Even at that time, I had not conquered my aversions to the dryness of a life of study. I would still be merrily disposed at times, and as my pleasures were, to say at the least, undignified and I was not only well known and highly considered, but growing towards the elderly man. This incongruency of my life was daily growing more unwelcome. It was on this side that my new power tempted me until I fell in slavery. I had but to drink the cup, to doff at once the body of the noted professor, and to assume, like a thick cloak, that of Edward Hyde. I smiled at the notion. It seemed to me that the time to be humorous, and I made my preparations with the most studious care. I took and furnished that house in Soho, to which Hyde was tracked by the police and engaged as a housekeeper, a creature whom I knew to be silent and unscrupulous. On the other side, I announced to my servants that a Mr. Hyde, whom I described, was to have full liberty and power about my house in the square, and to parry mishaps. I even called and made myself a familiar object in my second character. I next drew up that will to which you much objected, so that if anything befell me in the person of Dr. Jekyll, I could never enter of that Edward Hyde without pecuniary loss, and thus fortified, as I suppose, on every side, I begin profit by the strange immunities of my position. So I think what's he saying here? Should the alter ego permanently take over and take hold forever? Therefore, Dr. Jekyll, in theory, would be dead, technically. If it, so he would still need to pass on his possessions to technically what is a new individual. Sorry about the text. Direct fire is a fellow person of the director or could injure that big candidate loss. Thus fortified, as I suppose, on every side, I began to profit by the strange immunities in my position. Okay, let me see how much more I have. Okay. Oh wow, he is a lengthy person. But we can make it. We could potentially make it. Or if I have to, I'll probably do I might do one I might finally do a Sunday stream, morning stream, or something. I don't know. Let's just continue. Well, we'll continue. We'll just continue. I've got plenty of time. What do I say? Men have before hired bravos to transact their crimes, while their own personal and reputation set under shelter. I was the first that ever had. I was the first that ever did so for his pleasures. I was the first that could thus plod in the public eye with a load of genuine respectability. In and in a moment, like a schoolboy, strip off these lendings and spring headlong into the sea of liberty. But for me, in my impenetrable mantle, the safety was complete. Think of it. I did not even exist. Let me but escape into my laboratory door. Give me but a second or two to give mixed and swallow the draught that I had always standing ready. And whatever he had done, Edward Hyde would pass away like the stain of breath upon a mirror, and there in his stead, quietly at home, trimming the midnight lamp in his study, a man who could afford to laugh at suspicion would be Henry Jekyll. The pleasures of which I made haste to seek in my disguise were, as I said, undignified. I would scarce use a harder term. But in the hands of Edward Hyde, they soon began to turn toward the monstrous. When I would come back from these excursions, I was often plunged into a kind of wonder in my vicarious depravity. I'm going to check something real quick. Okay. All right. The pleasures of which I made haste to seek in my disguise were, as I said, undignified. I would scarce use a harder term. But in the hands of Edward Hyde, they would soon they soon began to turn toward the monstrous. When I would come back with these excursions, I often plunged into a kind of wonder at my vicarious depravity. This depravity. This familiar that I called out of my own soul, and sent forth alone to do his good pleasure, was being inherently marred and villainous. His every act and thought centered on self, drinking pleasure with bestial avidity, from the degree of torture to another, relentless like the man of stone. Henry Jekyll stood at times aghast before the acts of Edward Hyde, but the situation was apart from ordinary laws, and insidiously relaxed the grasp of conscience. It was Hyde, after all, and Hyde alone, that was guilty. Jekyll was no worse. He woke again to his good qualities, seemingly unprepared. He would even make haste, when it was possible, to undo the evil done by Hyde, and thus his conscience slumbered. Whew. Not too much to read. Into the details of infamy, at which thus confined, uh, connived, for even now I can scarce grant that I committed it. I have no design of entering. I mean but to point out the warnings and successive steps with which my chastisement approached. I met with one accident which, as it brought on no conscience, I shall no more than mention. Oh, excuse me. In an act of cruelty to a child arose against me the anger of a passer-by, whom I recognized the other day in the person of your kinsman. The doctor and the child's family joined him. There were moments when I feared for my life, and at last, in order to pacify the too just resentment, Edward Hyde to bring had to bring them to the door and pay them in a check drawn in the name of Henry Jekyll. But this danger was easily eliminated from the future by opening an account at another bank in the name of Edward Hyde himself, and when, by sloping my own hand backward, I had supplied my double with a senator, and I thought I sat beyond the reach of fate. Some 2 months before the murder of Sir Danvers, I had been out for some of my adventures, had returned at a late hour, and woke at the next day in bed with somewhat odd sensations. Okay, I'm going to take a pause there. Very odd sensations. Try to do something real quick. I returned at a late hour and woke up in odd sensations. It was in vain I looked about me. In vain I saw the decent furniture and tall proportions of my room in the square. In vain I recognized the pattern of the bed curtains and design of the mahogany frame. Something still kept insisting that I was not where I was, that I had not wakened where I seemed to be, but in the little room in Soho, where I was accustomed to sleep in the body of Edward Hyde. I smiled to myself. In my psychological way, began lazily to inquire into the elements of this illusion, occasionally, even as I did so, dropping back into a comfortable morning doze. I was still so engaged when, one of my more awakeful moments, my eyes fell upon my hand. Now, the hand of Henry Jekyll, as you often remark, as you have often remarked, was professional in shape and size. It was large, firm, white, and comely. But the hand of which I now saw clearly enough, in the yellow light of the mid-London morning, lying half shut in the bedclothes, was lean, corded, knuckly, in a, and a, knuckly of a dusky pallor, and a thickly shaded with a swart growth of hair. It was the hand of Ed, it was the hand of Edward Hyde. So what has happened is that this transformation has been going on off without the potion. I'll be right back. I've got to use the restroom, but I have to take my phone with me, so I do not have. Actually, no, hold on. My phone can stay here. Sorry. My phone can stay here. If it rings, it rings. But he, but we can now listen to more music, or the same music. You'll just listen to the music. It's the same music. So, yeah, listen to that music, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I've decided to wear. I've decided to take off my coat. Hold on, shut up. I've decided to take off my coat because it was just getting uncomfortable. But I'm putting my bathrobe on. This is technically my grandfather's hand me down. Um, no, I didn't know it is my grandfather's hand me down. Sorry. This is my grandfather's bathrobe. I'm wearing it right now because it's getting late, but I can still continue. But this room in particular, gets really cold. I wouldn't say really cold, just cold enough. Anyways, where was it? Yeah, murder of Sir Evans, Edward Hyde. The transformation, by the looks of it, is out of whack. It's inconsistent. Or not inconsistent. It's consistent, but it's not. He can't control. There. I could just wear my Christian hoodie. I don't want to call it a Christian hoodie. That sounds weird. I could wear my hoodie, but nah. This is more emotionally. Um, anyways, I also could wear my new pajama pants. Nah, not for the stream. Maybe later. Maybe some other stream. They would need to go through a wash because that's what you're supposed to do with new clothes. Anyways, you don't with new clothes. You always wash them. Okay. Even if they're fresh out of the package and everything, you should still wash them because of a lot of like germs or whatever. I don't know, factory germs. I guess. You should wash them regardless, just in case. Uh, if they're clothes from like Walmart or Belk's, from like a store, like you get like the clothes, one of those clothes off the straight from um the what do you call them? Straight from the store. But anyways, if they're not in the package or whatever, I guess you could technically wear it for the first time. But like, if it's on a hanger, if it's on a hanger from a store, then you should definitely wash them because so many people have like touched everything. So you should wash. So you should definitely wash whatever clothes you get from a store, especially from a store. If you purchase it online from like Amazon, I feel like you should still wash it because of other various reasons. But yeah, I'm gonna take these socks off. Ow, they get itchy after a while. Ow. Okay, and this coat has been here for a while. It's a coat that I just kept here for some reason on the couch. I don't know why I left it here on this couch. I just did. This cozy couch is a lot of things. It's like that TV show. Gosh dang. Thankfully, it's just these pillows. Hey. I could teleport a gun, a tank from out of nowhere. Oh, popcorn. Not really. Anyways. Whew. Excuse me. Sorry. Where were we? It was the hand of Mr. Hyde. I must have stared upon it for near half a minute, sunk as I was in the mere stupidity of wonder, before terror woke up in my breast, just in his chest. His chest like just terror, shaking. Yeah, I think what it means here is like whenever you have like the chills in your, whenever you have the chills, you get this weird feeling in your chest. So I guess instead of saying his chest, he said his breast, which, yeah. Breast as sudden, startling as breath in my breast, as sudden and startling as the crash of cymbals. And bounding from my bed, I rushed to the mirror. At the sight that met my eyes, my blood was changed to something exquisitely thin and icy. Yes, I had gone to bed. Yes, I had gone to bed Henry Jekyll, and I had awakened Edward Hyde. How was this to be explained? I asked myself, and then, with another bound of terror, how was this to be remedied? It was well on in the morning. The servants were up. All of my drugs were in the cabinet. A long journey down to 2 pairs of stairs, through the back passage, across the open court, and through the anatomical theatre, from where I was then standing horror-struck. It might indeed be possible to cover my face, but of what use was that, when I was unable to conceal the alteration of my stature? And then, with an overpowering sweetness of relief, it came back upon my mind that the servants were already used to the coming and going of my second self. I had soon dressed, as well as I was able, in clothes of my own size, had soon passed through the house where Bradshaw stared and drew back at seeing Mr. Hyde at such an hour, and in such a strange array. And 10 minutes later, Dr. Jekyll had returned to his own shape and was sitting down with a darkened brow to make a feint of breakfasting. Breakfasting is a phrase here where you eat breakfast. Just in case if you didn't know that. We're cutting here into the multiple pages. Oh, shit. No, we're not cutting. We're definitely not cutting. We're almost there. This is how I am. Faint breakfasting. Now I want breakfast. It's only 12:02. It's only 12:02. And I want breakfast already. Small indeed was my appetite. This inexplicable incident, this reversal of my previous experience, seemed like a Babylonian finger on the wall, to be spelling out the letters of my judgment, and I began to reflect more seriously than ever before on the issues and possibilities of my double existence. Excuse me. That part of me which I had the power of projecting, and lately been exercised and nourished, it had seemed to me of late as though the body of Edward Hyde had grown in stature, as though, when I wore that form, I were conscious of a more generous tide of blood. And I began to spy a danger that, if this were much prolonged, the balance of my nature might be permanently overthrown, the power of voluntary change before forfeited, and the character of Edward Hyde had been irrevocably irrevo- irrevocably mine. I could not pronounce it for some reason. The power of the drug had not been always equally displayed. Once, very early in my career, it had totally failed me. Since then I had been obliged, on more than one occasion, to double at once, with infinite risk of death, to treble the amount. And these are the rare uncertainties that had cast hitherto the sole shadow of my contentment. Now, however, in the light of that morning's accident, I was led to remark that whereas, in the beginning, the difficulty had been to throw off the body of Jekyll, it had of late gradually but decidedly transferred itself to the other side. All things, therefore, seemed to point to this, that I was slowly losing hold of my original and better self, and becoming slowly incorporated with my second and worse. Between these two, I now felt I had to choose. My two natures had memory in common, but all other falsities were most unequally shared between them. Jekyll, who was composite, now with the most sensitive apprehensions, now with a greedy gusto, projected and shared in the pleasures and adventures of Hyde. But Hyde was indifferent to Jekyll, but remembered him as the mountain bandit. Remembered him as the mountain bandit remembers the cavern in which he conceals himself from pursuit. Jekyll had more than a father's interest. Hyde had more than a son's indifference. To cast my lot with Jekyll was to die to those appetites to which I had long secretly indulged and had late begun to pamper. To cast it with Hyde was to die to a thousand interests and aspirations, and to become, at a blow and forever, despised and friendless. The bargain might appear unequal, but there was still another consideration in the scales. For while Jekyll would suffer smitingly in the fires of absence, Hyde would not even conscious of all that he had lost. Strange as my circumstances were, the terms of this debate are as old and commonplace as man. Much the same inducements and alarms cast the die for any tempted and trembling sinner, and it fell out with me, and it falls with so vast majority of my fellows, that I chose the better part, and was found wanting in the strength to keep it. Yes, I preferred the elderly and discontented doctor, surrounded by friends and cherishing honest hopes, and bade with resolute farewell to the liberty and the comparative youth, the light step, leaping impulses, and secret pleasures that I enjoyed under the skies of Hyde. I made this choice perhaps with some unconscious reservation, for I neither gave up the house in Soho nor destroyed the clothes of Edward Hyde, which still laid ready in my cabinet. For 2 months, however, I was true to my determination, For 2 months I led a life of such severity I had never before attained to, and enjoyed the compensations of an approving conscience. But time began to alas obliterate the freshness of my alarm. The praises of conscience began to grow into a thing of course. I began to be tortured with those throes and longings as of Hyde struggling after freedom. And at last, in an hour of more weakness, I once again compounded and swallowed the transforming draught. I do not suppose that, when a drunkard reasoned with himself upon his vice, excuse me, his vice, he is once out of 500 times affected by the dangers that he runs through his brutish physical insensibility. Neither had I, long as I had considered my position, made enough allowance for the complete moral insensibility and insensate readiness to evil, which were the leading characters of RavenWood Hyde. Yet it was by these that I was punished. My devil had been long caged. He came out roaring. And as he comes out roaring, I will take a break. Let me take a look at how much more I have. Yeah, just a few more. But we got this. We got this. We definitely got this. We'll cut into the day. We'll cut into the night. Nothing over here to check. Check, 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 check. All right, drink. Huh. Out roaring. I was conscious, even when I took the draught, of a more unbridled, a more furious propensity to ill. It must have been this, I suppose, that stirred in my soul that tempest of impatience with which I listened to the civilities of my unhappy victim. I declare, at least before God, no man morally sane could have been guilty of that crime upon so pitiful of a provocation that I had struck in no more reasonable spirit than that in which a sick child may break a plaything. But I had voluntarily stripped myself of all those balancing instincts by which even the worst of us continues to walk with some degree of steadiness among temptations. And in my case, to be tempted, however slightly, was to fall. Excuse me. Instantly the spirit of hell awoke in me, enraged. With a transport of glee, I mauled the unresisting Does anyone remember the show Glee? It was one of my Aunt Carol's favorite shows. Glee. Where was it? Glee, 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 Glee. word glee? Where's the word glee? Glee? Oh, with a transport of glee, I mauled Dartmoor. I mauled the unresisting body, tasting delight from every blow. And it was not till weariness had begun to succeed that I was suddenly, in the top fit of my delirium, struck through the heart by a cold thrill of terror. A mist a mist dispersed. I saw my life to be forfeit, and plunged from the scene of these excesses, at once glorying and trembling, my lust of evil gratified and stimulated, my love of life screwed into the topmost peg. I ran to the house in Soho, and, to make it doubly sure, destroyed my papers. Thence I sent out through the lamplit streets, in the same divided ichacity of mind, gloating on my crime, light-headedly devising others in the future, and yet still hastening and still harking in my wake for the steps of the avenger. Hyde had song upon his lips as he compounded the draught, as he drank it, pledged the dead man. The pangs of transformation had not done tearing him before Henry Jekyll, with the streaming tears of gratitude and remorse, had fallen upon his knees and lifted his clasped hands to God. The veil of self-indulgence was rent from head to foot. I saw my life as a whole. I followed it up from the days of childhood, when I had walked with my father's hand, and through the self-denying toils of professional life to arrive again and again, with the same sense of unreality, the damned horrors of the evening. I could have screamed aloud. I sought with tears and prayers to smother down the crowd of hideous images and sounds with which my memory swarmed against me, and still between the petitions. Excuse me. Did it freeze? Hello? No, it didn't froze. It's still here. I'll check the clock. I wonder if it technically did froze. Hello? Hello? Testing. Hello? Okay. Testing. Hello? Okay, that's all. The time here is not accurate. All right. Okay, morning. Have you left? Oh, my arm. I will keep going. I do not care if I lose all my audiences. Okay, so let me read. I'm trying to figure out where am I. Uh-oh. Where am I? Oh, childhood. My father's hand through the half the 9/12 of my personal eye, getting into the unreality, the damp horrors of the evening. I could have screamed aloud. I sought with tears and prayers to smother down the crowd of hideous images and sounds with which my memory swarmed against me, and still between the petitions the ugly face of my iniquity stared into my soul. As the acuteness of this remorse began to die away, it was succeeded by a sense of joy. The problem of my conduct was solved. Here, Hyde was thence Hyde was thenceforth impossible. Whether I would not, whether I would or not, I was now confined to the better part of my existence, and oh, how I rejoiced to think it! How I rejoiced to think it! With what willing humility I embrace anew the restrictions of natural life! With what sincere re- re- renunciation, renunciation I locked the door by which I had so often gone and come from ground the key under my heel. The next day came the news that the murder had been overlooked, that the guilt of Hyde was patent to the world, and that the victim was a man high in public estimation. It was not only a crime; it had been a tragic folly. I had I think I was glad to know it. I think I was glad to have my better impulses thus buttressed and guarded by the terrors of the scaffold. Jekyll was now my city of refuge, but Hyde peeped out an instant, and in the hands of all men would be raised to take and slay him. I resolved in my future conduct to redeem the past. I can say with honesty the resolve was fruitful and of some good. You know yourself how earnestly, in the last months of the last year, I labored to relieve suffering. You know that much was done for others, and that the days passed quietly, most happily for myself. Nor can I truly say that I wearied of this beneficent and innocent life. I think instead that I daily enjoyed it more completely. But I was still cursed with my duality of purpose, and as the first edge of my penance wore off, the lower side of me, so long indulged, so recently chained down, began to growl for license. Now that I dreamed of resuscitating Hyde, resuscitating Hyde, the bare idea that would startle me to frenzy. No, it was my own person that I was once more tempted to trifle with my conscience, and it was an ordinary secret sinner that I at last fell before the assaults of temptation. There comes an end. There comes an end to all things. The most capacious measure is filled at last, and this brief condensation of my evil finally destroyed the balance of my soul. And yet I was not alarmed. The fall seemed natural, like a return to the old days before I had made my discovery. It was a fine, clear January day, wet underfoot where the frost had melted, but the cloudless overhead in the Regent's Park was full of winter chirpings and sweet and sweet with spring odors. I sat in the sun on a bench, the animal within me licking the chops of memory, the spiritual side of little drowsed, promising subsequent penance, but not yet moved to begin. After all, I reflected, I was like my neighbors, and then I smiled, comparing myself with other men, comparing my active goodwill with the lazy cruelty of the neglect. And at the very moment of that vainglorious thought, a qualm came over me, a horrid nausea, the most deadly shuddering. These passed, these passed away, and left me faint. And then, as in its turn faintness subsided, I began to be aware of a change in the temper of my thoughts, a greater boldness, a contempt of danger, a solution of bonds of obligation. I looked down. My clothes hung formlessly on my shrunken limbs. The hand that lay on my knee was corded and hairy. I was once more Edward Hyde. Edward Hyde. A moment before I had been safe of all men's respect, worthily beloved, the cloth laying for me in the dining room at home, and now I was common quarry of mankind, hunted, houseless, a known murderer, thrall to the gallows. My reason wavered, but it did not fail me utterly. I have more than I. I have more than I. I have more than. I have more than once observed. I can't say words. I have more than once observed that in my second character, my faculties seemed sharpened to a point, and my spirits more tensely elastic. Thus came about that where Jekyll perhaps might have succumbed. Hyde rose to the importance of the moment. My drugs were in one of the presses of my cabinet. How was I to reach them? You don't. I'm just kidding. Still here, Kate Morning? Still here. Well, so am I. Well, of course, that would be the office. Oh, let me stretch. Let me take a break. Ooh. In a Kit Kat bar. Bing. Man, my phone is just not charging. 2 hours and 20 minutes, and it's starting to get colder. Oh, or maybe I'm becoming Mr. Hyde. No, I will get to the end of this book. I don't care how long it takes me. This chapter is just long. It's like little, just a few more pages away. We're fine. Still, gotta stay warm. You know what? No, hold on. Let me wear it. I just I know, I suppose, again, I'm breaking the rule. I'm also breaking another rule. Gotta take other clothes off in order to put it. I cannot. I cannot see, Gregory. Anyways, now I'm breaking the rule. You're supposed to. My hair has betrayed me. There we go. I'm gonna put this on. Over. Also, I'm breaking two rules. Okay, supposed to wash them. Always wash new clothes. And you're supposed to take off bathrobes. Don't wear things over them, but that's technically not a rule. Oh, it's a nice cross. Oh, gotta stay warm. Yep. Soon the beginning of the year, I would get a haircut. I technically already got a haircut in October, but hair grows back. Rather fastly. So what I'll do, I'll get a haircut, and you'll notice it. You'll notice the change. There we go. It's nice and warm. It's nice and comfy. I'll have to take it off before I go to bed, though. Let's see. Okay. I wanted to check the time. 12:30. Okay. We still got time. We got plenty of time. Time's the enemy, but it's also the friend. If I get any colder, I'll put on my pajama pants. But I'll have to get behind the camera to do that. I get a haircut from my dad. Oh, yeah, big mistake from my stepdad. He was mean. Almost done. Yeah, we're almost done. We're a good length into it. And again, for some reason, authors are like, the final chapter has got to be the longest thing ever. It's got to be longer than the previous ones. Either that, or when he wrote the final chapter for this one, he wanted to explain everything possible about about how the transformation worked. Keep in mind, it's a short story, so it's not like a chapter book where he has multiple adventures as Mr. Hyde. So this is supposed to explain how everything went down. Oh wow! Yeah, 1, 2, sort of 3-ish more pages. We're almost done. Secret sinners for the soul's temptation. Okay. Okay, right. We'll continue right here. Okay. Thrall to the gallows. My reason wavered, but it did not fail me utterly. I have more than observed that in my second character, my faculties seemed to sharpen to a point, and my spirits more intensely elastic. Thus, it came about that, where Jekyll perhaps might have succumbed, Hyde rose to the importance of the moment. My drugs were in one of the presses of my cabinet. How was I to reach them? That was the problem that, crushing my temples in my hands, I set myself to solve. The laboratory door I had closed. If I sought to enter my house, my own servants would consign me to the gallows. I saw I must employ another hand, and I thought of Leon. How was he to be reached? How persuaded? Supposing that I escaped the capture in the streets, how long was I to make my way into his presence? And how should I, an unknown and displeasing visitor, prevail on the famous physician to rifle the study of his colleague, Dr. Jekyll? Then I remembered that my original character, one part remained to me. I could write my own hand, and once I had conceived that kindling spark, the way that I must follow became lighted up from end to end. Thereupon I arranged my clothes as best as I could, and summoning a passing hansom, drove to a hotel, Portland Street, the name of which I chanced to remember. At my appearance, which was indeed comical enough, however tragic a fate these garments covered, the driver could not conceal his mirth. I gnashed my teeth upon him with a gust of devilish fury, and the smile withered from his face, happily for him, yet more happily for myself, for in another instant I had certainly dragged him from his perch. At the end I entered, I looked about me with so black a countenance as made the attendants tremble. Not a look did they exchange in my presence, but obsequiously took my orders, led me to a private room, and brought me wherewithal to write. Wherewithal to write. Whew. We're peaking there. We're closing inwards. So just the mere presence of Hyde. Probably they knew about that he was a wanted criminal. A criminal? Well, I want to see what I look like with it on. I am Mr. Hyde. Okay. Anyways, as I was saying, or he was just that hideous looking. Oy. Yeah, just not hideous looking, scary looking. It was just that scary looking. It's just like, hello. So just his mere presence would just be, oh dear, this person we should stay away from. Don't look at him. I hope he doesn't see me. And this was also during a time where you couldn't simply just pick up a phone like, oh, let me take a few pictures, tweet them, call the cops, emergency call. No, they had to get out like these like not a hand phone. They would have a phone that was attached to a wall, and they would have to go to that wall. Hello, please. There was no instant emergency number. You had to. And also, it's funny. Old telephones. Much different. Ooh. Ah. Hyde in danger of his life was a creature new to me. Shaken with inordinate anger, strung to the pitch of murder, lusting to inflict pain. Yet the creature was astute, mastered his fury with a great effort of the will, composed his two important letters, one to lay on and one to pull, and that he might receive actual evidence of their being posted, sent them out with directions that they should be registered. Thenceforward he sat all day over the fire in the private room, gnawing at his nails. There he dined. I would dine evilly, so evil. Evil dining. Oh. Dining. Where's the day? Dine, sitting alone with his fears, the waiter visibly crawling before his eye, and thence, when the night was fully come, he set forth in the corner of a closed cab, and was driven to and fro about the streets of the city. I cannot say I, that child of hell. Oh, dead? Me dead, or Dr. Jekyll dead, or Henry Jekyll, or Hyde? Or you dead? Don't die. Is this dead? No, the stream's not. Oh, character dead. Uh, yes, and technically no. Um, in the previous chapter, they both committed suicide due to being due to fright. But you should have watched the previous streams. Or read with the on your own time. Hell, sorry. That child of hell had nothing human, nothing lived in him but fear and hatred. And when at last, thinking the driver had begun to grow suspicious, he discharged the cab and ventured on afoot, attired from his misfitting clothes, an object marked out for observation, into the midst of the nocturnal passengers. These two base passions raged within him like a tempest. He walked fast, haunted by his fears, chattering to himself, sulking through the less frequented thoroughfares, counting the minutes that still divided him from midnight. Once a woman spoke to him, offering, I think, a box of lights. He smote her in the face, and she fled. And when I came to myself at Lands, the horror of my old friend perhaps affected me somewhat. I do not know. It was at least but a drop in the sea to the abhorrence with which I looked back upon these hours, a change that had come over me. It was no longer the fear of the gallows, but it was the horror of being Hyde that racked me. I received Land's commendation, commendant, con, con, com, condemnation, partly in a dream. Condemnation, sorry, condemnation, partly in a dream. Sorry. It was partly in a dream that I came home to my own house and got into bed. I slept after the prostration of the day, with a stringent and profound slumber which not even the nightmares had wronged me could avail to break. I woke with the morning shaken, weakened, but refreshed. I still hated and feared the thought of the brute that slept within me, not with. That would be funny. I had not, of course, forgotten the appalling dangers of the day before, but I was once more at home, in my own house and close to my drugs, and gratitude for my escape shone so strong in my soul that I almost rivaled the brightness of hope. I was stepping leisurely across the court after breakfast, drinking the chill of the air with pleasure, when I was seized again with those indescribable sensations that herald the change. And I had but the time to gain the shelter of my cabinet before I was once again raging and freezing with the passions of Hyde. It took on this occasion a double dose to recall me to myself, and alas, 6 hours after I sit looking sadly in the fire, the pangs returned. Then the drug had to be re-administered. And short, from that day forth, it seemed only by a great effort as of gymnastics. Sorry. Oh, my back. Gymnastics. Where's gymnastics? Come on, gymnastics. Gymnastics, and only under the immediate stimulation of the drug I was able to wear the countenance of Jekyll. At all hours of the day and night, I would be taken with the premonitory shudder. I want to see if. Okay, yeah. Above all, if I had slept or even dozed off for a moment, premonitory shudder. Above all, if I slept or even dozed off for a moment in my chair, it was always as Hyde as I awakened. So, so he should not have tested this in the first movie, or tested it on himself in the first place. Because now, because now, every time he falls asleep, he would wake up as Mr. Hyde. And every time Hyde falls asleep, he would wake up as Dr. Jekyll. Yay. Oh. But it's not like, here's the weird part. It's technically one of those split personalities. But the problem is that it's a new body. It's like he's when he takes the potion or whatever, when he takes the drugs, right? He not only has a new personality, but he also has a new body altogether. Like new facial features, height difference. He can't fit his clothes anymore. Skill issue. Can't get good at that game. But yeah, so and also the transfer. He can't, as it seems, he can't control, or rather, he wants to control, but he knows that if he falls asleep, blah 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 blah. So yeah, he's been technically been good at keeping at bay. See, under the strain of this continually impending doom, but sorry, that's turning to me problem. Duh. Under the strain of this continually impending doom by the sleeplessness to which I now condemn myself, even beyond what I had thought possible to man, I became, in my own person, a creature eaten up by a creature eaten up and emptied by fear, languidly, weak both in body and mind, and solely occupied by one thought, the horror of my other self. But when I slept, or when the virtue of the medicine wore off, I would leap almost without transition for the pangs of transformation grew daily less marked, into the possession of a fancy brimming with images of terror, a soul boiling with causeless hatreds, and a body that seemed not strong enough to contain the raging energies of life. The powers of Hyde seemed to have grown with the sickliness of Jekyll, and suddenly the hate that now divided them was equal on each side. Oh, this page, or this side of this page, this side of this page, and then one last paragraph. We're almost done. I know I've been saying that a lot. But this rest part should be a breeze to read. Hopefully, if I don't interrupt myself with jokes or quips. And drinking water. Or not water, Coke. Cherry. Sickliness of Jekyll would certainly hate now equals both sides. With Jekyll, it was a thing of vital instinct. He had now seen the full deformity of that creature that shared with him some of the is it pneumonia? No, phenomenon. The phenomenon, no. I'm actually divided between this. Phenomena? No. Men. Phenomenon? What? Phenomena? Phenomenon. But it's a phenomena. Phenomenon. Okay. That phenomena of consciousness and was cohere to him to death and beyond these links of community, which in themselves made the most poignant. Okay, I don't know. Poignant? Uh, hmm. Phenomenon? No? It's just the same word. Okay, let me. Come on, delete that word. Pogchamp. Sorry, no, poignant. Okay. Poignant. Okay. Poignant part of his distress. He thought of Hyde for all of his energy of life, as of something not only hellish but ignorant. Sorry. This was the shocking thing, that the slime of the pit seemed to utter cries and voices, and that the amorphous dust. Now hard words are getting in my way. Gesticulated. I think it's gesticulated. Gesticulate. But did gesticulate? Gesticulate. Oh, gesticulate. Gesticulate. Gesticulated in sin. That what was dead and had no shape should upset the offices of life. And this again, that insurgent horror was knit to him closer than a wife. And yes, he does repeat the word that twice. That. I don't know why, but anyways, you can do that, and it is legal to write that. To write that side by side. And this again, that insurgent horror was knit to him closer than a wife, closer than an eye, lay caged in his flesh, where he heard it mutter and felt it struggle to be born. And at every hour of weakness, and in the confidence of slumber, prevailed against him, and disposed him out of life. The hatred of Hyde for Jekyll was of a different order. His terror of the gallows drove him continually to commit temporary suicide, a return to a subordinate station of a part instead of a person. But he loathed the necessity, and he loathed the despondency to which Jekyll was now fallen, and he resented the dislike with which he had himself regarded. Hence the ape-like tricks that he would play me, scrawling in my own hand blasphemies on the pages of my books, burning the letters and destroying the portrait of my father. Dang. And indeed, had it not been for his fear of death, he would long ago have ruined himself in order to involve me in the ruin. Dang, that's despicable. But his love, his life, is wonderful. I go further. I who sicken and freeze at the mere sight, at the mere thought of him. Not sight, thought. When I recall the abjection and passion of this attachment, and when I knew how he fears my power to cut him off by suicide, I drink a sip of Coca-Cola. Sherry. Ugh. Now thought of it. When I recall the abjection and passion of his attachment, and when I know how he fears my power to cut him off by suicide, I find it in my heart to pity him. Oh, interesting. Now one whole page in a paragraph left over. Oh! Stretchy, stretchy, stretch. Stretchy, stretchy, stretch. It is useless, and the time awfully fails me to prolong this description. No one has ever suffered such torments. Let that suffice, and yet even to these habit brought, no, not alleviation, but a certain cowardliness of soul, a certain equations of despair. Okay, come on. Stop throwing me new words that I don't know. Or I don't know how to pronounce. Or both. Where is it? I want to do some of these words justice. Equations? Yeah. I barely type in these words and it immediately finds it. Acquiescence. No, just acquiescence. Acquiescence of despair, and my punishment might have gone on for years, but for the last calamity which has now fallen, and which has finally severed me from my own face and nature, my provision of the salt, which had never been renewed since the date of the first experiment, began to run low. I sent out for a fresh supply, and mixed the draught. The evolution followed, and the first change of colour, not the second. I drank it, and it was without efficiency. You will learn from Poole, how I had London ransacked. It was in vain, and I am now persuaded that my first supply was impure, and that it was that unknown impurity which lent efficacy to the draught. About a week has passed, and I am now finishing the statement under the influence of the last and of the old powders. This, then, is the last time, short of a miracle, that Henry Jekyll can think his own thoughts or see his own face, and how sadly, and now how sadly altered, in the glass. Now Now, or nor must I delay too long to bring my writing to an end, for my narrative has hitherto escaped destruction. It has been by a combination of great prudence and great good luck. Should the throes of change take me in the acting of writing it, Hyde will tear it by pieces. But if some time shall have elapsed after I had laid it by, his wonderful selfishness and circumscription to the moment will probably save it once again from the action of his ape-like spirit. And indeed the doom that is closing on us both has already changed and crushed him. Half an hour from now, when I shall gain and forever renew that hated personality, I know how I shall sit shuddering and weeping in my chair, or continue with the most strained and fear-struck ecstasy of listen. I can't pronounce ecstasy at all. Listening to pace up and down this room, my later earthly refuge, and give ear to every sound of menace. Will Hyde die upon scaffold, or will he find courage to release himself at the last moment? God knows. I am careless. This is my true hour of death, and what is to follow concerns another than myself. Here then, as I lay down the pen and proceed to seal up my confession, I bring the life of that unhappy Henry Jekyll to an end. Oh wait, hold up. Was that was that secretly was that secretly Hyde writing the last few sentences? Here then, as I lay down the pen and proceed to seal up my confession, I bring the life of that unhappy Henry Jekyll to an end. Ooh, spooky. But that is it. The next story in this book will be the Wheel o' the Mill. But we'll save that for a later date. Maybe next year, maybe the year later, who knows? But we have plenty of more stories to read. I have been planning to read Sherlock Holmes, but next up, let's put this over here. No, let's put this over here for right now. But for next up, we'll go back to the Artificer and read And Not Owed. Oh, roll those boats. Well done. Yes, I am proud of myself. Oh, I feel very tired. I can't wait till next year so that we can start on the Artificer. It feels like it's a long distance away, but it's only a few days. Whenever someone says, I can't wait till next year, it's like a long distance. But now, saying I can't wait till next year, it literally means can't wait till January, so sometime in the next month. Me too. Yeah, I agree. Keep morning. But with that said, what are your hopes? what do you hope for me to read the next month? The Artificial, then the Warm, right? Um. Oh, the Worm. Hmm. I almost forgot about that. I'm glad that you're here. So what we'll do, yes, um, we'll definitely read chapter 2 of The Artificer, right? Part of me wants to either finish reading the book Artificer and then finish reading the story. Oh no, read not finish reading this book, but read the next story in this book to be beautiful, and then move on to like Sherlock Holmes or another Robert Louis Stevenson story or something else. Um, Worm, the Worm. See, I do want to read the Worm, but I'm but I'm afraid of it. Um, but at the same time, I just got done with like a similar story, not a similar story, but I just got done with a story about a guy who had bug-like powers and bug-like abilities. Not the Worm. Um, it was in the video game, but and so I'm like, well, that's kind of not disgusting now because I like this character, and so like, but the bugs weren't worms. The bugs weren't the insects weren't the ugly insects in my opinion, or the more creepy curly ones, or the maybe some of them were, but anyways, but it wasn't well. Although his the character I'm talking about is Oberon Vortigern, the Pretender Seven in Fate Grand Order, and so now I think about his noble phantasm is the Abysmal Worm. I don't know about the lore, if there's any mythology about a worm, or abysmal worm, but but it doesn't look like an actual worm. It's like a weird character, like a like a skid drawing. Um, but so yeah, I guess that's the differences between an actual worm and not. What I'll try to do. I'll read the Artificer. Yes. Um, I don't know if I should do like chapter by chapter. That's prolonging the book to be on here as much as long as possible. But you know how the old saying goes, all good things must come to an end. So I'm thinking that maybe I should just read the Artificer all the way through. Um, and then read To Be Beautiful. Um, and then read all the other books. Actually, no. Actually, I might read The Worm first. Yeah, that's something I might do. Okay, so I might. Okay, so I'll read The Artificer, then I'll look into The Worm. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that because like, I don't know if it's a long collection, and it can wait. I can. It can definitely wait. So can all the other classic books that I've been thinking about reading. Um, how about this? No, no certainties about the Worm, but I'll see if I can probably purchase it. Um, Yeah, next month I'll do. Yeah, that's probably something like what I'll do. Um, let's actually yeah, let's focus on reading chapter 2, and whenever I do finish reading it, you can't buy warm. Then I won't read it then. Just kidding. Um, no, I have to purchase a book. I do not want to read it on my phone. If I can't purchase, I'm pretty sure there's a physical copy of one. It's free online. I'm I do not do stories on the phone or I I could probably pull it up on this computer probably, but I want to be able to. Hmm, I'll have to think about that. Um, Hold on. I think there's a possible way of pulling up a different tab, but I'll have to use a different browser. Hmm. Anyways, well, let's see. I'll see what I can do. I prefer to have a physical copy than to be either a on my phone or to pull up a different tab onto my laptop or whatever, and then try to read it from here. Um, I'll have to adjust everything accordingly. If I'm going to read something on my laptop, I might have to just move this setup. I was planning to move my setup to I can't breathe. I can't not breathe. I can't. I can breathe. Don't worry. There was an air bubble from the soda. Can't burp. Let's see what I can do. No promises. How about that? Yeah, I'll definitely have to try to move to like my desk to do these streams more properly. But yeah, whatever you feel comfortable with, or whatever you feel comfortable with. Yeah. Um. Yeah. So expect this location in particular to be the last time I do my live stream here in this particular location. Maybe not the last time. Okay, let me correct myself. It probably won't be the last time I be at this particular location. Um, I want to give the actual desk over there a try. If not over there, then I want to give my personal desk. That's the desk for the random fandom. You can't see it, but over here on this side of the room is where the desk of the random fandom is. But for my own personal desk, it would be in my own room. But I won't know how to set that up at the moment. But I have an idea on how to do that. So bear with me on that idea. Um, and if that doesn't work, I'll definitely do a test stream. If that does not work over at my desk for some reason, maybe like a connection problem or uh, comfortability problem, we'll find out. So ah, so what I'll do is I'll do a test stream next year at my own desk. Um, that it'll be interesting. No, you will not see. You will not see the background of my room. I'll have it situated to where the camera will be facing my desk, and I'll be facing the camera. You'll find out. It'd be like, say the desk is right behind me, and I'm sitting in a chair like that, like this. Um, so yeah, that's an idea of how I would try to be comfortable. Technically, I have two desks in my room, but one of them is more like a table than a desk, and it's not it and it's technically for decoration. You could picture it. Yeah. Okay. So like the second desk in my room was actually a desk that I used when I was homeschooled during in my younger years of first grade, or I think I can't remember, but it was like an old my grandmother had found. I don't know if it was I don't know if it was my mother's homeschool desk or something, but she had found a desk that was like old school look, one of those old school looking desks. Um, hmm. I am now brainstorming of a possible. I'll make a video about. I'll make a video with the desk with that desk to show you what it looks like. Some part of it has broken off. There's like a little thing that has long no well yeah long ago broken off, I think. I'm not certain, but what it was being used for is to like I put a mirror on top of it to hold that. So basically it's holding a mirror that's rested up against the wall. um, so yeah, that's next to my bed, and I've just draped a bunch of like random useless. But no, I'll set up my computer to where not the computer slash camera and everything to where um you can see me. So yeah. But yeah, at the desk. So yeah. See, I'll try that as a testing, and if I see there's like a lot of issues for whatever reason, or yeah, I'll just go either back over here or I'll do another test stream and go over to this desk over here at the random fan. This this house, wh- this house has it's it's big. It's not too large. It just has a lot of guest rooms and spare rooms that we don't use. But thankfully, we take advantage of it. But it's whatever. um, I think one of the reasons why we got this house was because my grandmother has so much furniture. She just not want to get rid of anything. It's hilarious. But yeah. But I'm glad. I'm finally closing the final page. Must be nice to have a lot of room. Yeah, there's a lot of room. Um, uh, again, we are not wealthy or rich or anything. We just got lucky with this house that has a lot of room. And so, and my grandmother, my grandparents, but mostly my grandmother, um, she's like, I have a lot of furniture from my from from whatever stores I bought and from whatever past descendants of Neil and my grandfather, Mudge, and all this. Also, here's another thing. We have like a lot of we have a lot of bed frames and chairs. I kid you not. It is because of like growth of like we're tall. Me and my brother we're tall. all three of us we're tall, and so we don't know what to do with this extra. I'm glad too that we're able to finish the book. Yeah, I'm glad. Well, it's a story. We haven't finished the book. No, it's a story. We haven't finished this book either. We only finished a story in this book. So, and I'm hoping to get to this book, which has a bunch of stories. But we're at the Artificer. I don't know why I'm talking about my house. It's not my house, it's my grandmother's, but I live here, but whatever. Yeah, but anyways. Well, we're hoping to find a way to get rid of some of the bed frames. One of them was actually a mispurchase. And when we tried to put it together, it was meant to replace my brother's previous bed. But it's too short. And it's not safe. There's no not side railings, but there's like it not too short. It has no headrest and no footrest, although we don't need footrest because we're long. Our feet just stick out. And it's a bit high up of the ground, and he has fallen off of this bed. So, or not this bed, but of that bed. So we had to get another one that was lower to the ground, and well, it does not have any railings, or I think it does have a headrest. Yeah, I think it has a headrest. It does not have a footrest. We don't need it. It does not have any side rest, or what do you want to call it? The side railings? No. But anyways, it's fine. He hasn't fallen off. He had to get a queen size bed because we had to. Well, not a queen size. It was a double bed. The queen size and double beds are strangely and oddly enough two different types of beds, but the definition is two people can sleep upon it. But it doesn't matter. But side track. Yeah. Okay. Back to this. Can't wait to read it. Hopefully, new location. New background, new environment, whatever. Not new background, but whatever. I just want to try something new. Okay. Don't get me wrong. I love the red pillows. I love these red pillows. But this couch has no support for my back. It hurts. Well, I could do this, but every once, well, my shoulders feel odd and awkward. It's an old couch. We had it since when I was young. And we've been in a different house with this couch, but like, I need to be somewhere else. I need to sit in a different chair or something. And the only thing I could think of is my desk, my actual desk. And now I want to go over to the desk of the random fandom, but that has a weird connection. So we'll try that. We'll try that out. But before we try that out, well, I want to try my actual desk just to see if you like it, right? Not just you, Kate Morning, but whoever else watches this. If y'all like it, I think it's a neat little desk. I didn't want it. my grandmother wanted to buy a desk or something to fill in the emptiness of my small room. I already have we have several furniture. I don't mean to complain to y'all. I'm sorry. I do not mean to complain to y'all, but hey, we're fortunate. I'll say that we're fortunate. Yeah, but yeah, it's time. It's getting late. I was kind of hoping to do this on like the New Year, but the New Year is on a Sunday, and I've been trying to avoid doing live streams on Sundays. So yeah, that is all she wrote, and it's time to say goodbye. I hope to see you next time. Please leave a like and subscribe. Um, you need to go. Yeah, you need to go to bed. Go to bed. Rest those eyes. Those beautiful morning eyes. Um, Cape morning eyes. Um, I need more audiences to make fun of. I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. Cape morning. Uh, you can make fun of my hair if you want to. Go to bed. See y'all soon. Next year, leave a like, subscribe, share, ring the bell, all that other good stuff. And see y'all next time. Don't forget to tip the hat, y'all. Bye bye.